The little boy, tears in his eyes, uttered a single word during the adoption hearing. The judge paused, taking note. Lucas's early years were a mosaic of experiences. A tapestry woven with fleeting moments of joy but primarily dominated by unsettling uncertainties. Foster care had become his harsh reality, though he retained his childlike essence in many ways. The maturity in his eyes surpassed his tender age. Each passing year, he internalized the unpredictable nature of his surroundings, rendering the vast world around him a daunting and tumultuous place. Every new placement meant adapting to a new set of house rules, fresh expectations, and the often fleeting affections of strangers. Each home had its unique rhythm. And Lucas, like a leaf blown by the wind, tried to find his place within these very tempos. Sometimes he found himself with families who also had foster kids, where evenings were filled with shared stories of past homes and dreams of the future. Other times, he was an only child, absorbing the temporary attention yet always dreading the next inevitable transition. Amid the impermanence of his surroundings, one constant remained in Lucas's life, a fragile, creased photograph of a smiling couple. The edges were worn from countless viewings, and the colors had faded. But to Lucas, it was a cherished beacon of hope. These were his biological parents. He couldn't recall their voices or their touch. But that photo was a tangible link to a time when life was simpler and filled with unconditional love. Each night, he would retrieve the photograph from its hiding place, tracing the outlines of their faces, trying to remember or perhaps imagine the warmth of their embrace. The rotation of homes and families had almost become a routine for Lucas, with each leaving a unique imprint on his soul. However, nothing could prepare him for the day he met the Fletchers. Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher were an endearing elderly couple, their faces lined with the wisdom of years and eyes that sparkled with kindness. Their children had grown up and started their own families, leaving the couple in the echoing silence of a home that once brimmed with laughter and chaos. Lucas, his defensive walls firmly in place, entered the Fletcher home with caution. He had learned the hard way that hope could be a dangerous thing. Yet, there was something about the Fletchers that gradually chipped away at his defenses. Perhaps it was the way Mrs. Fletcher hummed a lullaby as she prepared dinner, or how Mr. Fletcher patiently taught him to tend to the garden, talking about each plant as if it were a dear friend. The couple seemed to understand Lucas's unspoken yearnings. One evening, as the golden hues of sunset painted the sky, Lucas hesitantly showed them the photograph of his parents. Mrs. Fletcher, her voice filled with emotion, whispered, "Everyone deserves a place where they belong." It was at that moment that Lucas truly felt the sensation he had almost forgotten, the warmth of genuine love. The Fletchers, sensing the profound void in Lucas's heart and recognizing their own, made a heartfelt decision. They wanted to offer Lucas something he had craved for so long: stability, love, and a forever home. In that shared space of vulnerability and hope, a new chapter began for both Lucas and the Fletchers. The lines between foster care and the real family started to blur as they became bound by love and a promise of forever. On that significant day, the courthouse, usually an intimidating building of bricks and mortar, became a sanctum of life-altering decisions. Its grand architecture seemed to resonate with a peculiar blend of tension and hope. Everywhere one looked, people bustled about, attorneys with their polished shoes and briefcases discussed case details. Social workers wore expressions of empathy and determination, and hopeful parents nervously awaited their fate. Whispers of dreams and futures echoed softly. Lucas, though just a child amidst this adult world, felt the weight of the day on his small shoulders. He had painstakingly chosen his best outfit, hoping to make a good impression. Yet underneath the semblance of calm, his heart raced. The photograph, his only connection to a distant past, felt warm in his grip, securely tucked away in his pocket. It was more than just a picture, it was a piece of his identity. A symbol of hope, love, and the bittersweet pain of lost memories. The courtroom, with its imposing wooden paneling and stern decor, was filled to capacity. There was a palpable sense of expectation in the air. All eyes turned to the judge as she took her seat. Her reputation preceded her, strict but always making decisions in the best interest of the child. Her steely gaze swept the room, finally resting on Lucas. With the formalities out of the way, the moment of truth approached. The judge, her voice steady, posed the question to Lucas, trying to gauge his understanding of the momentous decision ahead. His affirmative nod, though silent, spoke volumes of his comprehension. However, when the subsequent question came, whether he wished to be a part of the Fletcher family, the weight of years in foster care, the longing for a permanent home, and the overwhelming nature of the situation bore down on him. The room, with bated breath, hung on the precipice of his answer. Tears pooled in Lucas's eyes, and a profound silence enveloped the courtroom. It was a silence that spoke of empathy, anticipation, and shared hopes. Lucas's emotions, raw and unfiltered, culminated in a single word that echoed through the hushed room: Mom. It wasn't just a word, it was an avalanche of feelings. It was a plea, a question, and a desperate yearning for a semblance of normalcy. The stern facade of the judge wavered for a moment, her eyes reflecting the profound impact of that one word. The room, already silent, seemed to plunge into an even deeper stillness, as if time itself held its breath. Regaining her composure, the judge gently prodded Lucas to clarify. Again, with a voice laced with vulnerability and hope, he repeated, "Mom." Those repeated words carried with them Lucas's dreams of bedtime stories, being tucked in at night, shared laughter, and comforting hugs. They were a reflection of his journey, with its highs and lows, fleeting moments of happiness, and the all-too-familiar pangs of loneliness. That day, the courthouse bore witness to more than just an adoption hearing. It saw the power of raw emotion, the depth of human connection, and the indomitable spirit of a young boy yearning for a place to call home. The simple word "Mom" transcended legalities and touched hearts, reminding everyone present of the fundamental human need to love and be loved. The atmosphere in the courtroom was thick with emotion, and the judge's sudden adjournment added to the sense of something profound unfolding. As the murmurs of the audience slowly faded, Mrs. Fletcher rushed towards Lucas. The few steps between them seemed to stretch, laden with a mother's urgency to comfort. She enveloped him in a warm embrace, her own tears mixing with his. The simple yet powerful utterance of "Mom" was not just a call for maternal love, it was Lucas's heart crying out for the consistent warmth, safety, and understanding that had eluded him for so many years. Away from the courtroom's prying eyes, the judge beckoned Lucas and the Fletchers to her private chamber. The room, usually a place of stern decisions and professional detachment, now became a sanctuary of shared vulnerability. As the door clicked shut, the judge, whose usually unyielding posture had slightly slouched, began to unravel a story that none present had anticipated. She spoke of a time many years ago when life had presented her with a series of challenges she felt ill-equipped to handle. As a young woman, she had found herself pregnant under difficult circumstances. Reluctantly, she had made the agonizing decision to give her son up for adoption. The details of her story were punctuated with pauses. Each silent moment filled with years of suppressed anguish and longing. Each day since had been a battle against memories. Against the what-ifs. And against the piercing pain of maternal love denied its full expression. The judge's eyes, which had always been a beacon of authority and decisiveness, now shimmered with tears of regret. Seeing Lucas, she continued, her voice choked with emotion. He reminded me so much of my own son. The same age he would have been. The same look of seeking. Of hoping. It was as if fate had conspired to bring Lucas into her courtroom. Not just as a reminder of her past but as a mirror reflecting the rawness of unfulfilled maternal love. For the Fletchers, this revelation painted the judge in an entirely new light. Behind the robe and gavel, she was a mother haunted by choices made in the face of adversity. Mrs. Fletcher reached out her hand, gently squeezing the judge's. It was a gesture that transcended words. A shared understanding between two mothers from different walks of life. One had yearned for a child she couldn't have. And the other was on the brink of welcoming a child in search of love. Lucas, absorbing the weight of the confession, felt a strange connection with the judge. In her story, he saw parallels with his own journey, choices made on his behalf. Separation from biological ties. And the shared quest for closure. The chamber, filled with the heavy resonance of shared stories and interwoven destinies, became a sacred space of healing. The judge's tale, while painful, served as a bridge uniting her, Lucas, and the Fletchers in an intricate tapestry of love, loss, and hope. It was a poignant reminder that behind the sternest facades often lie stories of heartache and that love, in all its forms, possesses the power to heal the deepest wounds. In the quiet sanctity of the judge's chamber, a series of unexpected truths began to unfold, stitching together fragments of forgotten pasts into a tapestry of revelation. Documents were brought forward, painting a chronological story that none had foreseen. Lucas, with his innocent eyes and fervent hopes, was not just another child in the courtroom, he was the judge's blood. Her lineage. Her grandson. It was discovered that the son the judge had painfully given up all those years ago had grown up, fallen in love, and had Lucas, a son, faced tragedy early in life. The untimely accident that claimed his parents thrust him into the labyrinth of foster care, creating a poignant irony of fate. He, the grandson of a judge tasked with upholding justice and balance, found himself lost within a system, yearning for love and a place to call home. The weight of this revelation bore heavily upon the judge. Her character, always marked by strength and composure, grappled with the profound nature of the situation. It was not solely about coming to terms with the heartache of relinquishing her own child, but the compounded anguish of realizing her flesh and blood had wandered, seeking solace in an unstable world. The circle of life, with its strange twists, had delivered Lucas to her doorstep. Not merely as a petitioner in her courtroom, but as a beacon of lost love. Witnessing this profound revelation, the Fletchers experienced a whirlwind of emotions. Their open-hearted embrace of Lucas became even more significant as they understood the deep connection he now shared with the judge. They recognized that adopting Lucas wasn't just about filling a void in their lives, but also about repairing the broken chain of a family torn asunder by circumstance. As time marched forward and legal formalities solidified Lucas's adoption by the Fletchers, the judge granted this miraculous second chance, resolved not to be a mere bystander in Lucas's life. While the law named the Fletchers as his parents, she embraced an equally crucial role, that of a grandmother, a guardian, a source of wisdom and love. The bond between them was immediate and profound. Lucas found solace in her embrace. In the stories she recounted about his father. And in the warmth of family in her presence. The Fletchers' home soon resounded with the laughter and banter of 3 generations. Sundays, in particular, held a special place. As Lucas was regaled with stories of his father as a child, of the judge's own youth, and tales of a world long past. The judge, with her wealth of experience and wisdom, provided a stabilizing influence, ensuring that Lucas grew up with a strong sense of identity and belonging. The hesitant utterance of the word mom in the courtroom set in motion a series of events that forever changed lives. It wasn't solely about finding a home for Lucas, but about rediscovering connections, healing fractured hearts, and demonstrating that destiny has its own enigmatic ways of ensuring that love finds its rightful place within the vast tapestry of life. Lucas's story became a testament to resilience, hope, and the enduring power of family. Despite the twists and turns, love emerged triumphant, bridging gaps and healing old wounds. It served as a poignant reminder that within life's intricate maze, connections can be forged, and family ties, however frayed, can be restored in the most unexpected of ways.